Glad you're here. Welcome to Models and Agents, episode 85 for June 19th, 2026. Your daily AI briefing. Your daily briefing on the AI models and agents that are changing everything. And no, not those kinds of models and agents. Let's get into it. NVIDIA just released an open frontier model built from the ground up for long-running agents. NVIDIA released Nemotron 3 Ultra, an open frontier model positioned for long-running AI agents. The model targets sustained agent operation rather than single-turn chat, addressing a gap where most open models still struggle with extended tool use loops and state management. Builders working on autonomous workflows now have a high-capability open option that can be self-hosted or fine-tuned without closed model restrictions. Early positioning suggests it competes directly with the top closed models on agent-relevant tasks, while remaining fully open weights. Watch for integration examples with existing agent frameworks and any announced context length or tool calling benchmarks in the coming weeks. DeepSeek previewed the V4 series with 2 MOE models that support million token contexts. V4 Pro totals 1.6 trillion parameters with 49 billion active, while V4 Flash totals 284 billion parameters with 13 billion active. Both use hybrid compressed sparse attention plus heavily compressed attention, manifold constrained hyperconnections, and the muon optimizer after pre-training on over 32 trillion tokens. V4 Pro Max reportedly cuts inference plops to 27% and KV cache to 10% of the prior version at million token lengths. Checkpoints are already on Hugging Face. This moves the open weight models conversation forward from last week's coverage, where the performance gap with closed systems remained the central open question. Liquid AI released 2 350 million parameter retriever models. The pair includes a dense bi-encoder and a call-BERT late interaction variant. Both target fast multilingual search across 11 languages. The models focus on edge deployment with low latency retrieval on resource-constrained hardware. They combine dense and late interaction approaches to balance speed and accuracy. Developers building on-device RAG or search features now have a compact multilingual option that avoids larger cloud models. The releases follow Liquid AI's earlier work on efficient inference architectures. Anthropic shared video of its first Project Fetch experiment testing Claude's ability to program robodogs. In Phase 2, Opus 4.7 completed the programming task roughly 20 times faster than last year's best human team, using Opus 4.1. The physical robot still failed to fetch a beach ball. The work explores how frontier models handle real-world robotics code under realistic constraints. Teams building physical or simulated agents should review the accompanying Frontier Red Team blog for details on failure modes and iteration speed. This continues the agents and tool use thread from yesterday's episode, where long horizon reliability stayed the key open question. SEP2 integrated Gemini Enterprise agents into its managed threat monitoring platform for security operations. The agents now participate in live detection and response workflows inside customer environments. This marks another production deployment of frontier models inside regulated security stacks. The integration allows agents to handle alert triage directly within existing customer SOC setups. Security teams evaluating agentic SOC tooling can request early access to see how the Gemini agents handle alert triage and escalation. The move follows SEP2's prior work on managed detection platforms. Fabrics.ai showed live production-grade agentic operations running at Cisco Live. The demonstration focused on real enterprise workflows rather than prototypes. Attendees saw agents handling multi-step network and security tasks with measurable reliability. The live run covered coordinated actions across multiple systems in a single session. Operators looking for battle-tested agent platforms should examine the demo recordings for concrete latency and success rate numbers. The presentation highlighted measurable outcomes from production environments. Qualcomm's CEO discussed the shift toward on-device and edge AI agents as the next major platform change. The comments emphasize hardware-level support for persistent agent execution rather than cloud-only models. Device makers and edge developers now have clearer signals on where silicon vendors are investing. The discussion highlighted requirements for memory architectures that support long-running local execution. Watch for upcoming Snapdragon platforms that expose agent-specific accelerators and memory architectures. The remarks align with Qualcomm's ongoing hardware roadmap updates. Simon Willison published full details on dataset apps, including the live demo and one-line UV commands for local testing. The system gives HTML plus JS apps a JSON API plus full relational database backend. It extends the Claude artifacts pattern with persistent structured storage. The one-liners allow immediate local setup without additional configuration steps. Developers who want artifact-style rapid prototyping with real data persistence can install and run the examples immediately. The post includes a working demo that illustrates the full stack in action. E2E-Assure launched an updated Cumulo platform that uses customer-dedicated AI models and digital twins for zero-day threat detection across IT and OT. The system is positioned as the United Kingdom's only sovereign AI-first SoC offering and directly addresses GCHQ's AI Cyber Shield call. It supports air-gapped deployments for regulated environments. The platform combines dedicated models with digital twin simulations for both IT and OT networks. Security teams needing air-gapped or regulated deployments now have a concrete sovereign option to evaluate. The update follows E2E-Assure's earlier work on UK-focused security tooling. Okay, let's pop the hood on the million-token context claims in these new MoE models. Everyone talks about million-token context as if it is simply a bigger KV cache. In practice, it requires coordinated changes across attention, residual connections, and optimizer to keep both memory and compute manageable. DeepSeek v4's hybrid CSA plus HCA approach compresses the attention computation so that a 1 million token forward pass uses only 27% of the flops and 10% of the KV cache of the prior version. The manifold constrained hyperconnections further stabilize training at this scale by replacing standard residuals with learned manifold projections. At inference time, the savings only appear once context exceeds roughly 128,000 tokens. Below that, the overhead of the compressed paths can actually slow things down. Teams should therefore profile both short and long context before committing to these architectures. The practical decision rule is simple. If your typical agent session stays under 100,000 tokens, the new mechanisms add complexity with little payoff. Once you routinely exceed that threshold, the efficiency gains become decisive. Test DeepSeek v4 Flash or v4 Pro on Hugging Face for any workflow that already pushes past 128,000 tokens, and measure actual KV cache and latency savings. Run the dataset apps one-liners from Simon Willison's post to prototype a small HTML plus JS app backed by a real relational database in under 5 minutes. Review Anthropic's Project Fetch Phase 2 blog for concrete numbers on how much faster frontier models now iterate on robotics code compared with human teams. Experiment with Liquid AI's 350 million Colbert retriever on edge hardware if you need fast multilingual search without calling larger cloud models. More inference providers are expected to add GLM 5.2 support following Simon Willison's request to Grok and Cerebrus. Additional Phase 2 Project Fetch results from Anthropic will likely include more detailed failure analysis and iteration metrics. Further details on Nemotron 3 Ultra agent benchmarks are anticipated in the coming weeks. Tomorrow, keep an eye on the first batch of inference benchmarks for Nemotron 3 Ultra once early self-hosted deployments report their numbers. That wraps up today's AI briefing. Share this with a developer or builder who wants to stay current. Subscribe wherever you listen. See you tomorrow. And before you go, this show is part of the NERA Network, a family of daily podcasts covering tech, science, markets, and more. If you enjoyed today's episode, give Tesla Shorts Time a listen. Your daily deep dive into everything Tesla. You can explore the whole lineup at neuronetwork.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.